More details on that. That is the KMPDU Nairobi chapter. They're issuing a strike notice by the 21st of August should their welfare issues not have been catered for. Elsewhere, thousands of students holed up in homes over COVID-19 are expected to begin classes in their respective estates and villages. TSC has directed all teachers to submit their details of their current location and immediately start teaching small groups of students living nearby under the community-based learning program. George Maringa is taking a look at the progress of this initiative in Meru and now joins us live for an update. George, the community-based learning program got off to a slow and confusing start this week. Teachers had no idea their role was. Chiefs and assistants had not received any communications from the ministry. What is the situation today?
Yes, good afternoon to you and our viewers. Indeed, the community-based learning is one way that clearly we haven't walked this path before, and therefore it is still, a wait and see as to the effectiveness of how things shall be, especially in rural areas. Remember, probably in the estates, in urban places, gathering students, say, in an estate would be easy. But what about in, in communities, in mashinani areas, in rural areas? How do you then ensure, or rather you perform or execute this community-based learning? Remember that in some villages or in some places, schools are actually where pupils and students congregate for various things. But just to get a feel from the other side of the parents, that is, I will engage one parent who is here with me to just discuss matters or to dissect as to what or how they feel regarding this issue. Thank you very much for joining us on KTN News. Start with your name and to which school does your child go?
My name is Elizabeth Nyambura, and my son is called Angelo Mungai, and he attends Meru Primary School. Yes.
It's just across the street here. Tell us, as a parent, when this community-based learning approach was issued by the government, how is your feeling or your take about it as parents, first of all?
My feeling about it is that it may not be effective. Why? Because it will also condone the children meeting once more. What I would like to say is that maybe they should meet in an open space, because places like halls and classrooms are no longer workable due to the COVID-19 rules. Yes.
And going now to, it will be a community-based learning where, it doesn't have to be a parent. I mean, the teacher doesn't have to attend to pupils or students where, in their place of work, rather in their community where they are based. So, for example, have you started seeing or mapping out teachers, because there was that issue of mapping out teachers by the ministry, where Kenyans were asked to help in mapping out or in identifying teachers, so they may be able to do that. Have you seen, a preamble or a precursor of that happening, say, in your neighborhood?
Actually, I have seen some teachers that have come together, but they have not really started. I think they are still confused over the issue.
And now going to the issue of ensuring, or rather actualizing or executing this community-based learning, what would be your expectation as a parent once it is rolled out or once it starts officially? What would be your expectation as a parent once your son goes to, attends this learning, which is not supposed to exist between an hour or two?
Okay, my expectation as a parent is that my son will be able to, whatever he has learned in the classroom, to implement it in the house. And I expect to see his grades rising, since he has been a bit dormant at home. Now that the learning will take off, I expect improved grades. Yes.
And private schools, before the reopening of face-to-face learning was moved to January 2021, private schools were implementing online or virtual classes. How has it been for you parents in public schools?
The parents in public schools, actually we have not had such programs at all. We don't have classes where they meet or even WhatsApp. It's you as a parent to take the responsibility of looking, even for the past papers, look for other classes that are doing the Zoom meetings and probably ask them to log in for your child. But the public schools, we really have a problem with that. It has not been possible even for the parents to come together after COVID-19. Yes.
What would be your, as you wind up, what would be your word to the government to just ensure, this education issue is handled well, especially for pupils and students in public schools? As a parent, what would be your word to the government?
First of all, I would like to say that the bundles that were coming in for the education are really good. The other thing they should do is that they should make sure that every child has the same basic rights. Just imagine a child who is in the rural areas that does not even have a smartphone, could only listen to the KBC radio. That child becomes a bit slow even in learning. So I would like to the government to make sure that every child has equal rights and every parent also has equal rights in the sense that could they also continue sending bundles to those parents that cannot afford anything, and could also make that virtual learning available in other places. The laptops that they provided, is it possible for them to go with them at home? You see, right now they are getting dust in schools there, but if they could go home, they could be reusable, something like that, and put content that is corresponding with the curriculum and extracurricular activities. That's what I would recommend. Yes.
Thank you very much. Indeed, those are sentiments from one parent here in Meru, Elizabeth, just talking to us about this whole issue of community-based learning and raising pertinent questions there, as you have had, and probably possible recommendations to the ministry to just adhere, just to listen to what they have to say. Remember,